Welcome to the Zombie Story Zone. Hey there, zombie fans. Are you ready to dive into another spine-chilling, brain-munching tale of terror? Tonight, we bring you Zombie Carnival Freak Show, a heart-pounding story of revenge, rebellion, and the terrifying power of the undead. Imagine a twisted carnival with a freak show isn't just creepy, it's deadly. Zombies enslaved as performers, their pain hidden behind the applause. Until one night, they break free. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. But before we jump in, don't forget to hit that like button if you love zombie stories as much as we do. Make sure to subscribe to the Zombie Story Zone and press that bell icon so you never miss a new story. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Comment below and tell us your favorite part of tonight's story or what you do if you found yourself in a zombie carnival. Alright, let's dim the lights, grab your popcorn, and step into the darkness of the Zombie Carnival Freak Show. Roll the story.
The dusty winds of the Mojave Desert whispered secrets to the battered tents of the Garrick Brothers Traveling Carnival. A banner hanging lopsided at the entrance read, "Freak Show, Fear the Undead." The carnival's freak show was infamous for its twisted performers, contorted, grotesque, and seemingly lifeless. Because they were. Behind the scenes, a dozen captive zombies lurked, their decayed faces painted grotesquely, their tattered outfits adorned with sequins and ruffles. These zombies were no mere actors in costume. The Garrick brothers had stumbled upon a dark secret, a reanimation serum smuggled from a government lab. They used it to enslave the dead, turning them into a grotesque gold mine. Night after night, crowds lined up for the ghastly spectacle. They cheered as the freaks performed death-defying stunts, eating glass, walking through fire, and enduring impalements, all without so much as a groan. Behind the audience's laughter, however, lay a sinister truth. The zombies felt everything. Inside their steel-barred cages, the performers festered. Their humanity had been stripped away by chains, shock collars, and the serum that kept their decayed forms moving. They couldn't speak, but they could feel. Their bodies ached, their minds burned with rage, and their captors grew careless. Tonight, things would change. Rickety caravans lined the perimeter of the carnival grounds, and within one of them, Zeke Garrick paced nervously. The younger of the Garrick brothers was wiry and twitchy, his guilt-ridden eyes constantly darting to the vials of serum on his cluttered desk. A part of him hated the operation, but the money was too good. "Get the freaks ready," barked Saul Garrick, the elder brother. Saul was a mountain of a man, as cruel as the desert sun. He shoved the cattle prod into Zeke's hands. "No slacking tonight. We've got VIPs." Zeke nodded weakly and trudged toward the holding cages, the stench of decay thick in the air. His lantern flickered as he unlocked the first cage. A hulking zombie, its ribcage visible through its torn flesh, stepped forward. Its eyes, milky white but filled with a strange intelligence, bored into Zeke's soul. "Move," Zeke muttered, prodding it in the back. The creature snarled but obeyed. One by one, the freaks were herded into the main tent. Among them was Rosie, a former contortionist, her once light body now mangled into a twisted mockery of her past glory. Hector, a strong man in life, was now a grotesque puppet of rotting muscle. Milo, once a fire breather, now spewed embers from a mouth filled with jagged teeth. But it was Ellie who sparked the rebellion. Ellie, a petite zombie with cascading black hair and one remaining blue eye, had been a tightrope walker before her tragic death. She retained a sharp mind and an unbroken spirit. As Zeke tightened her shock collar, Ellie made her move. With a sudden jerk of her decaying arm, she grabbed his wrist, her fingers biting into his flesh. "I damn freak," Zeke yelped, dropping the collar remote. Ellie's eye gleamed with cunning as she stomped on the remote, shattering it. The other zombies stirred, their chains rattling. Ellie's defiance lit a spark in them, one that could not be extinguished. The freak show began as usual. The crowd roared as the zombies stumbled onto the stage, their grotesque appearances illuminated by flickering torches. The ringmaster, Saul, bellowed into his microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, prepare to be horrified. Witness the impossible, the dead brought to life. The audience cheered as Hector bent an iron bar over his neck. Rosie contorted her limbs into impossible angles, her bones cracking audibly. Milo belched fire into the air, the flames reflecting off the eager eyes of the spectators. Ellie waited. She scanned the crowd, calculating. At the edge of the stage, Zeke stood nervously, his cattle prod in hand. He was the weak link, and she knew it. When the fire-breathing act ended, Ellie sprang into action. She darted toward Zeke with inhuman speed, her chains clanging like a warning bell. Before he could react, she seized the prod and jammed it into the control panel beside him. Sparks flew, and the collars around the zombies' necks deactivated with a hiss. The effect was instantaneous. Hector roared, his bellows shaking the stage. Rosie lunged toward Saul, her gnarled fingers outstretched. Milo, his jaw unhinged like a snake, let out a guttural scream that sent the audience into a frenzy. The crowd thought it was part of the act until Hector leapt into the stands, ripping a VIP's arm clean off. Panic spread like wildfire. Spectators trampled each other in their desperation to escape. The carnival's colorful lights cast eerie shadows on the chaos below, where the zombies unleashed years of pent-up rage. Saul tried to regain control, wielding a shotgun from behind the curtains. He fired wildly, hitting Rosie in the shoulder, but she didn't falter. She climbed onto the stage, her dislocated limbs swinging as she tackled him to the ground. The shotgun went off again, the blast echoing through the tent. Ellie, meanwhile, led a group of zombies toward the caravans. She had no love for her fellow undead, they were merely tools for her ultimate goal of vengeance. She found Zeke hiding behind a stack of crates, his face pale with terror. "Ellie," he stammered, holding up his hands. "I didn't mean for this." She didn't wait for him to finish. With a swipe of her clawed hand, she slashed his throat. Zeke gurgled and collapsed, his blood pooling in the sand. Back at the main tent, Milo had set the entire stage ablaze. Flames licked the striped canvas as the zombies tore through the remaining spectators. Hector, a towering force of nature, picked up Saul's shotgun and smashed it against the ground, rendering it useless. Saul, bleeding from Rosie's attack, staggered to his feet. He grabbed a nearby torch and swung it wildly, keeping the zombies at bay. "You freaks, I made you. You owe me your miserable lives." Hector growled and charged. The two collided, the impact sending Saul flying into the inferno. His screams were drowned by the roaring flames. By dawn, the carnival was a smoking ruin. Ashes floated on the wind, mingling with the metallic tang of blood. The freak show tent had collapsed, its charred remnants smoldering against the pink horizon. Ellie stood at the edge of the wreckage, her blue eye reflecting the rising sun. Behind her, the surviving zombies gathered, their moans echoing through the stillness. They were free, but they were also lost. Rosie limped forward, her contorted form silhouetted against the rubble. "What now?" her guttural voice rasped. Ellie didn't respond immediately. She gazed toward the distant hills, where the remnants of human civilization waited, oblivious to the carnage. A faint smile tugged at her cracked lips. "Now," Ellie said, her voice cold and deliberate, "we show them what real monsters look like." With that, she turned and began walking toward the horizon. The others followed, a shambling army of the undead, united by their hunger for vengeance and the taste of freedom. Weeks later, rumors of the massacre at the Garrick Brothers Carnival spread like wildfire. Survivors spoke of the freaks that broke their chains, of the undead that turned against their masters. Townspeople whispered of a horde moving through the desert, leaving destruction in its wake. And in a small, dusty diner on the edge of the Mojave, a radio crackled to life. The announcer's voice trembled as he delivered the news. "Authorities are urging residents to stay indoors. Lock your doors and windows." A wave of violent attacks has been reported across multiple towns. Witnesses describe the perpetrators as not human. In the diner's corner booth, Ellie sat and noticed, her tattered clothes and decayed face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat. She sipped from a glass of water, her remaining eye scanning the room. Her time would come, and when it did, the world would know the wrath of the undead.